Hello everyone and welcome to this new video. So our lesson today is yet about writing. So this is part of unit 8, the last lesson in unit 8, writing a letter to the editor or writing an email to the editor of a magazine or a newspaper, or generally we are going to see how to write a formal letter. So the previous lesson we studied how to write a personal letter. Okay, let's get started. So before we get into details, let's start with this extract for reading. First of all, let's do a quick surveying of this extract. For the sake of time, we are using here just a very short extract. This is taken from your textbook. Excuse me. So first of all, let's look at the title, the pictures, the first sentence to determine what kind of text is this, the topic, and the main idea. Alright, so this is as always, you can pause the video. Once you get your answers ready, then you get back to see the correction. So as you can see, this is not a complete article. This is an extract from an article that appeared in a magazine or a website or a newspaper. So the title is Global Campaign for Education. As you can notice here, we have some pictures to help us. These are kids. As you can see, these children are underprivileged. Some of them are street children. Okay, so format, this is an extract from a newspaper or a magazine article. Topic, it's about education of poor children. Okay. The main idea, so we already have an idea. We can go back to the text and read it in details to find out the main idea. So millions of children are unable to go to school because it's miles away or because their parents can't afford the expenses. As they become adults, they probably won't earn enough money to send their own children to school. So the cycle of poverty will never stop. If we continue to be careless, this cycle of poverty will never stop. You can make a change. So as you can see, the text talks about this issue, which is child illiteracy, children not going to school. The causes of this problem: some parents are poor, they can't afford the expenses. Schools are located far from their homes. And the text suggests some solutions. Solutions is we should not be careless. We should not let this go on. And every individual can make a change. So this is basically what the text is about. So let's suppose you are reading this article and you are intrigued and you want to give your opinion, you want to share ideas, you want to give some ideas about this topic. So what are you going to do? You are going to write a letter or an email to the editor-in-chief of the magazine. Okay? Alright, so this is what we are going to see in our lesson. Writing a formal letter or an email to the editor. So as a quick review, in terms of format, a personal letter is different from a formal letter. As we've seen before, personal letter can be 1 page, 2 pages. It depends. A formal letter is usually 1 page. As you can see, the main differences between the two are the addresses. In a formal letter, we need to mention the addresses. Or if it's an email, you need to mention your emails here. And the most important difference is the language used in both. In personal letter, we tend to use more of informal language. We focus more on feelings. We talk about our emotions and so on. Language used in a formal letter, it's more of formal academic language. Okay, great. So this is basically what you need to know at this point. So for writing, let's start first with the content and ideas we need to write our response. So as we said, the topic is child illiteracy, is a serious issue. Main causes: poverty, location of schools, etc. The effect, the cycle of poverty continues because of child illiteracy. So the main focus of our writing should be solutions. If we want to respond to this article or to write a letter to editor, we need to focus on solutions. Here are some solutions. Help poor families with books, school material, transport, provide scholarship, etc. Here it says build schools closer to families, boarding schools where students can eat, study and sleep. And most important, ban child labor. We should make child labor forbidden for all families. Underage children should not go to work, they should go to school. The government also should invest more in education, etc. So these are just some solutions. Remember, these ideas you will need to write your response. Okay, so here is a sample you can use in your response. So this is an example of a letter to editor. As you can see, the most obvious difference is the addresses. Be careful for the back exam. You are asked not to include your address in your letter. So you just start with the subject without the addresses. Okay, good. So you write your address on the top right without your name and the date. Remember, try to avoid the French format of dates. Use the English format. To the left, a little to the bottom, you write the addressee's address. You're writing, for example, to a magazine, write Mr. President, the editor-in-chief, the title, the name of the magazine, the address. You're writing to UNICEF, for example, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, then the address here. The subject, in this case, it's about child illiteracy or child education in general. Next, formal greetings. In a formal letter, you need to use dear sir or madam, dear Mr. President, or dear sirs, comma, and this is followed by a comma. Don't use hello, don't use thank you. This is not a personal letter. Good. Next part, it's introduction. So in the introduction, mainly you need to mention the topic you are writing about, the context, in what context are you writing about, reference to the previous article, and the purpose. Example, published in your, in reply to your, I read your article about, then you mention the topic, published in your magazine or in your website, date of publication. Then what's your reaction to that? I found it very interesting. I agree with, then what are parts, ideas you agree with? And then most important, why are you writing this letter? I would like to share my point of view concerning some points raised in the topic, in the article, or I would like to share or to shed some light on or to give my opinion about. Alright, so the next part is the body. The body, you have to share the ideas you want to add to the topic. Start with the general fact. For example, it goes without saying, there is no doubt that an idea you agree with or general fact. In this case, we all agree that child illiteracy is a serious issue. In fact, you can give some ideas, some examples or details to clarify this. In fact, millions of children and so on, some statistics just to support your idea. Then your main focus here is solutions. So concerning the solutions for this issue, I believe that we all are concerned, which means schools, authorities, families, all right? This is your main focus. And then you give your idea. First of all, the first idea, besides the second idea. If it's not clear, explain it like in other words, explain that in other words. And then finally, or last but not least, and your last supporting detail, give an example for that. And don't forget to finish the body of your letter with a concluding sentence like in brief, in general, all in all, and general idea you want us to remember from your letter. And most importantly also is the conclusion of the topic. Therefore, for all the arguments mentioned above, what do you want people to do? So action, you urge people, authorities, concerned parties to take regarding the topic. And finally, the last part should be the ending of the letter. The ending should include something like looking forward to seeing my article or my contribution published in the next edition of your magazine, or looking forward to hearing from you, or without this, it's not really necessary, but the most important is the salutation, right? Yours faithfully or yours sincerely. Don't say here take care or hello or bye-bye. That's informal. Formal structural expressions, yours faithfully or yours sincerely. Your name and your signature. Okay? Sorry. So now let's move on to practice. For practice, write a letter to the editor of UNICEF magazine or UNICEF organization about the topic we discussed earlier. So you can go back to the video, watch it again, play it again, until you get you understand the lesson. So here is an example. This is an email. You can just write starting from here. Okay? So once you finish your writing, use this checklist to correct and to edit your writing. Or you can write about this topic. So let's suppose that this is an extract from your school magazine. Part of this article, the writer says, online learning should be compulsory, obligatory in all Moroccan schools. It helps improve teaching and learning. So we have noticed that during this COVID-19 crisis, online schooling is really a very effective alternative. So this is an extract from an article that appeared in your school magazine. So are you for or against? Do you agree with this? So write a letter to the Ministry of Education or to the editor of your school magazine, giving your opinion with supporting ideas following the sample we have seen. All right, so thank you for your attention, and as always, do your homework and send it to me via WhatsApp or Teams or on my personal email. And remember, practice makes perfect. Practice writing, you get better and better. And last but not least, stay at home and stay safe. Take care.